Hey everybody, Jacob with Scooters Lawn Care here in Springfield, Illinois, and today we are talking about mowing height, why it's important, what it should be, and what makes us choose those different heights, and what are some of the benefits of those as well. So let's get right into the heights of it. First and foremost, our general heights are anywhere from 3 to 4 inches tall. This is kind of our standard. Maybe as we're doing fall cleanups to cut it low and to get it where leaves blow off for the winter, we go like a 2 3/4 inch. But standard in season, 3 to 4 inches. In the spring, we're going to do shorter. In the summer, we're going to do longer. And I'm going to go over why there's some flux in that. In the spring, your grass is growing like crazy and it is super, super flush, and there is no pressure for it to slow down at all, right? So you can cut it a little bit shorter. You can try to maintain the lawn a little bit tighter, as long as you don't have to cut off too much grass, which can be a struggle in the summer, and sometimes you do have to. But there's a rule of thumb I'm going to go over right after this that we try to abide by, but depending on how much someone fertilizes a lawn, it may not even be possible. So we mow closer to 3 in the spring, and then as you get to summer, you start having a drying out effect, and it starts getting really, really hot, and cool season grasses perform really, really well as soon as it warms up in late March or early April, and then they perform well until it starts hitting, the mid 80s to 90 degrees, and then they start to suffer, and usually about that same time it gets dry in Illinois. Now, when that happens, we want to start cutting taller and taller and taller as the lawn starts coming under more drought and heat pressure. And what that does is the taller the grass is maintained, you have to kind of think about it like the root system is going to go as deep as the grass grows tall. So as you allow that to maintain taller and taller and taller, we're driving and pushing and promoting root growth to go further and further into the ground. This is going to give us more access to moisture and nutrients as things dry out, and it's going to allow you to have a greener lawn as things get drier and drier and drier as the summer goes on. Now, ideally, we continue having summer rains, and it continues keeping the lawn looking pretty nice, but ultimately, cool season grass does not do well once it gets boiling hot outside. It's going to suffer some stress. So the strategy of letting it get taller as it gets hotter is extremely beneficial for keeping your lawn green and help keeping your lawn thick. Now, sometimes the grass can look a little wispier or doesn't look like as much is cut off, but this goes into the next point. As grass is seeing more stress from heat and not as much rain, the rule of thirds becomes even more important. And that is the rule to not remove or cut off more of the blade than the third of the total blade length. Now, when it's growing like crazy in spring, and there's all kinds of rain, and there's all kinds of fertilizer, and the weather is perfect, and the temperatures are perfect, this little bit of stress from cutting excessive grass is not as detrimental as when you get exposed to the heat and drought stress of middle of summer. You get into late June, July, August, and that's when we're going to allow it to get taller, and we're going to come in and we're going to cut much less off of your lawn each time, because we're just trying to tighten up the lawn, we're trying to tidy up the lawn, while causing as little stress as possible so your lawn can maintain its beautiful green as long as possible into the summer. And hopefully you have irrigation, which helps that even more on top of all of these other procedures we're kind of implementing on your lawn. Finally, one of the key reasons to let your lawn grow taller, have taller grass, stay greener and thicker is the huge benefit to the shade canopy grass itself makes. It keeps the soil shaded, which keeps all of the new weed seeds and everything that's there. Like if you bared the dirt off, if you sprayed your whole lawn with Roundup, you'd have weeds in no time, because then sun was able to hit the soil and promote growth for all of the weed seeds laying all over your yard. But that canopy of the healthy grass is really the best prevention for weeds. So if we keep that thicker and taller into the summer, you're going to have less and less issues with weeds blowing into your lawn when it comes to your fertilization and maintenance practice as well. So that's where everything has to kind of work together to get the best results. And if we cause a lot of stress by continuing to maintain it low, cutting off a lot of grass, and then you have the cut stress of doing more than a third of a blade each time you cut, you have the heat stress, you have the drought stress, and before you know it, you have yellowing out, brown, dying spots. And as soon as you get thinning, as soon as you get soil exposed, you'll have weeds fill those spots, and now you're back to the war of spraying killing and winning that sod back. So that's how we look at height of grass and how we maintain lawns. We adjust this lawn to lawn to lawn. We adjust this week to week and month to month, all throughout the season, based off the conditions, based off the temperatures, and based off of what that lawn dictates we do. I hope this helps you some as a homeowner if you're just trying to mow and maintain your own lawn and you're looking to try to keep it greener and healthier. And this gives you a little more insight on why we do what we do.